Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about intellectual freedom and LGBTQ plus content within the library. We're going to stick with the ALA definition of intellectual freedom, which is the rights of a library user to read, seek information, and speak freely as guaranteed by the First Amendment. The reason LGBTQ plus content and intellectual freedom is so important, especially right now in our political climate, is because there are so many books and resources being challenged by parents, school boards in particular, to remove this and other content from library patrons. For the research that I did, the thing that kept coming back up was how often library boards in particular are trying to take these resources out of school libraries. And it's from what I've read and understand, it's a little bit easier for school boards to take resources out of libraries than in public libraries. Um, and unfortunately, with that, with the challenges and the controversy that has come with LGBTQ plus content in the library, there are many librarians who are facing fears and pushback and even adding and growing their collection of queer content, which really, when it comes down to it, is doing a disservice to the people in which we serve. Having representation in the content that you are reading and consuming, and even games like what you're playing, having your life story represented can have a major impact, especially on queer youth. When you look at the statistics for suicide in LGBTQ plus youth, the statistics are staggering. It's just so much more likely for people who identify as queer to face mental health issues. And while it's small and can seem a little insignificant at times, having the materials for someone to explore who they are in a safe way where they perhaps don't have to engage with adults or friends and have like physical conversation can be majorly impactful. Like, you can genuinely be saving a student's life by having the content that shows that they're not alone, they're not wrong, they're not bad. They're human and they're exploring their life as they understand it. The biggest other thing that I've found in my research for the annotated bibliography is that when push comes to shove, like a library setting, we should be sharing everything with our patrons, whether we agree with the materials or not. Like, our beliefs are insignificant at this point. We as professionals don't get to decide that, hey, I don't like this book because it's mentions racism or LGBTQ plus issues, or it's mentioned stuff about conservative politics or liberal politics. Like, our beliefs are irrelevant. We are here to serve and to allow our patrons to have access to the information they want and they need, and that's it. Like, we're not here to tell you what you want to read or consume is wrong. Which then, as professionals, we need to approach, particularly in a school setting, the school boards who are challenging, and like the more conservative governments in the South in particular that I've read about, what it means to remove this information. Because if they're going to start removing this content, what's next? Because it's not going to stop at LGBTQ plus content. It's not going to stop at content talking about racism or critical race theory. Like, it's just going to keep going and going until the resources that we have are so cherry picked that we're not going to be able to serve our whole community. So we have to ask ourselves, particularly those in the school library setting and those interacting with school boards and school administrators, what their goal is, and try to intellectualize it and understand it, and then push back if needed. Because we're not serving our communities if we are impeding their access to resources.